Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words proudly saying, "We the people."
Hello and welcome everybody to Lex Rex Institute. This is our series called Ask an Attorney, and I am here with one of the best attorneys, Alexander Haberbush, my friend. How you doing, sir?
Doing well, thank you, John. That's far too high of a compliment, though. Well, certainly one of the most available attorneys at this moment right now to you.
Well, look, last time you put me on a pedestal saying I was in charge of making this more entertaining. Last time I checked, we got more views, so keep them coming, people.
Yeah, so you're doing it, John.
We're doing a good job.
Just keep it up, and we'll keep you here.
That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, I know. I'm trying not to get fired. I get paid so much here. So you and I are both from Long Beach, California. Last time
That's
I checked.
right.
Okay. What do we call those things when you're, is it proper, is it positive, the pronoun? What is that about?
Well, you know, I think you probably mean preferred pronouns.
Preferred pronouns,
in my
thank
view,
you.
a lot of people tend to insist on ones that aren't necessarily the proper pronoun, but certainly the ones that they prefer.
So what's yours? How do you identify?
I personally prefer he, him, his, I'm sure there's a lot of other second-person pronouns,
Yes.
but the ones for men are
Yes.
the ones that I tend to use.
Okay, yeah, same here. Yeah, I've identified as a male my
Both
whole
of us
life.
collectively are they. Don't call us he, him if it's for both of us.
Let's
So
get this
just
right.
to be clear.
Let's get this right. We don't want to mess it up. But you and I, being from Long Beach,
Oh,
proud
you is
from Long Beach.
my second person.
You will work,
Yeah,
right?
you can
Okay.
call me
okay.
you.
I think we have a city that's super close to a city of Los Alamitos.
A me works if I'm referring to myself. That's fine as well. Well, I was a lot of them, it turns out. I as well. There's another one.
You're crazy. We gotta.
Keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
Gotta be kidding me, man. Oh my gosh. So in Los Alamitos, if I'm not read yet, folks, in Los Alamitos, there's a case going on that you're very familiar with. You funny man. Do me a favor. Tell me a little bit about the case, because it's going to go down our path of the questioning.
Yeah, I'll just point out that your is another pronoun.
That would
be a possessive.
Write these down, folks, by
second
the way.
person,
This is
so
an educational
I
seminar.
do use a lot of them. But anyway, yeah, we have a case going in Los Alamitos right now. That case involves a number of 5th grade girls, the parents of a number of 5th grade girls.
5th graders. 5th grade
so
girls.
11 years old.
Okay.
Their school, every year, the elementary schools in this district do what they call outdoor science camp, where they send their kids to a camp to learn about, I guess, outdoor sciencey things.
Learning about nature, doing stuff outside.
Yeah,
Okay,
all the
fine.
things that we don't get to do as lawyers. So it sounds like the sort of thing that I would probably enjoy. I don't know if they do core samples or not, but something like that is what this camp gets
You know,
up to.
eventually we might get big enough to where we do an LRI retreat. So if
Yeah.
we have your guys' support, we might do a retreat. So anyway, go ahead.
And we'll
So-
share our preferred pronouns. But anyway,
Yes.
that's exactly what happened at this retreat. These 5th grade girls whose parents had been informed that school curriculum in no way involved anything having to do with LGBTQ matters, did not involve things about preferred pronouns, all the rest of that, were nevertheless introduced to the concept of gender identity, preferred pronouns, so on and so forth.
Oh.
This was an overnight camp, 4 nights. Girls were housed with persons of undetermined gender, actually as of yet undetermined gender, because the school basically won't answer our questions about it. But basic issue is this, and to summarize it, to put a fine point on it, one of the girls at one point asked the camp counselor that was going to be staying in the room with her, "Are you a girl or a boy?"
Oh, so they were trying to determine at a 5th grade level, this 5th grader was going, I'd like to know what your
I
preferred pronouns
we just
are.
talked about this
Now that
thing,
we
this
just
weird
spoke
thing I
about
hadn't heard
this.
about before. No judgment, not saying it's wrong, but I want to know, are you a girl or a boy? Because I'm in the girls' dormitory. I'd like to be with girls.
Sounds
Counselor's
like a suitable
answer?
question.
You would think. But the counselor's answer was, I use they, them pronouns.
Ah, okay, let's pause real quick on that. So we have they, them, meaning not identifying with either male or female gender.
That's typically how that's taken.
Typically,
yes.
okay, we don't want to assume, but let's say typically. And the they, them in the same sleeping arrangement as technically girls that are identifying as she, her?
Well, yeah, and in fact, biological girls too. In fact, I think all the girls in the dormitory were biological girls. I don't.
Okay.
I don't know that there were others involved here, but it was the girls' dormitory.
Okay.
Anyway, these kids get back. A lot of them are very traumatized by it. One of the lead plaintiffs on this case, one of my clients, her daughter didn't even mention this to her until 10 days after it took place because she was so upset by all of it, she didn't want to talk about it. Usually she's bubbling over, wanting to share things with mom, but after this camp, not so much. So the parents eventually, they figured, what the heck's going on here? They looked into the camp a little bit, found some very troubling and disturbing images online from the camp. A lot of the marketing material from the camp was oriented toward LGBTQ issues. It didn't seem like an outdoor science camp. It seemed like an LGBTQ retreat.
And just to be clear, Lex Rex doesn't have anything against or for. We're not making any political stance on LGBTQ.
Oh, no, not at all.
No. That's not what we are simply doing. Is looking at this case as just we're looking fact based. These are facts that we're talking about that happened. This is not opinion.
We believe that parents have a right to be informed about what their children are being taught and to give either consent or to withhold that consent.
It's almost like you knew what question I was going to ask. Perfect segue into the question. What can we do? I do not have any children. One day, I'd love to be blessed with a spouse to have, children.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd like to have children someday. You can answer that question, yes or no?
Yeah, well, nodded my head, absolutely.
There you
Yes,
go.
no.
Okay, yeah, we're trying to get.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, what could we do as either current parents or future parents to protect the education of our children?
Well, part of what you can do is what the parents in Los Alamitos, I'm sorry for that, tried to do is, as soon as they figured out this stuff was happening, they figured we're going to ask some questions of school administrators, because schools have boards of trustees. They're called trustees for a reason. It's because parents have entrusted them. We, the people, have delegated our responsibility to supervise the schools in a district to trustees, so they're directly answerable to the people within the district. Right. And they asked some questions. They said, why did you pick this camp? Did you know this camp was like that when you picked it? Who researched it? How much research did they do? And were our daughters housed with biological men? We'd like to know the answer to those things.
What kind of disclosures may have been brought up before?
Right.
Okay.
Problem was the school responded to that by stonewalling the parents. Took them over a month to finally say, we're pretty sure your daughters weren't housed with biological men. Prior to that, they were telling us that it was illegal for them to answer the question, which they clearly did not believe based on the fact that they later did sort of give an answer to it. But Lex Rex has been working with these folks. We've propounded a number of public records requests against the Los Alamitos School District, and they've given us woefully inadequate responses to those. So, we've given them every opportunity to settle this matter outside of court. They have failed to do it, which is why we are now bringing them to court. Okay. That's what we did on Monday. We initiated a lawsuit against the school to figure out exactly what went wrong and then make sure that these people are treated fairly and able to supervise the upbringing and education of their own children. So how can you do that? You, the viewer, how can you make sure that's done in your school? Well, I think that asking questions of your school board is a good place to start. I think that making sure that you get good members on your school board is another great thing you can do. But actually, another program that the Lex Rex Institute offers, and part of the reason we offer this is because we actually looked for resources for interested parents who were contacting us. We couldn't find anybody who was doing this already. So what we're doing, it's called the Open Book Project.
Oh, right. Tell me a
this
little
is
bit
a
about
book.
that.
You don't know what's in it. Now it's open, you know what's in it. That's the source of the name. So Open Book Project, and what we're going to do is we're going to issue a series of public records requests to schools, as well as review their websites, talk to teachers at the schools, really any resources at our volunteers' disposal to get a hold of what is being taught in these school districts, everything being taught in these school districts. We're starting with history curriculum. We'll move on to others eventually. But get a hold of those materials and then have volunteers comb through those materials using forms that the Lex Rex Institute will provide so that they can fill out those forms and say, I looked through the index in this book. There were 20 pages about some entrepreneur they wanted to mention who was part of some social cause, and it had 2 pages devoted to Thomas Jefferson. That kind of raises a red flag. Parents should know that that's part of the curriculum. Right now, we don't. You hear anecdotal reports on the news every day about what's being taught or what's not being taught. You and I were talking earlier that apparently one textbook now doesn't mention 9/11 because it might be offensive to some groups of people.
I had heard that rumors that they were concerned about hurting a certain demographic. I think you and I are torn from the cloth of history is history.
Yeah, and that's one like what you've said there. That sounds hard to believe. What do you believe when you hear it? We don't really know. Which is
concerning.
That's what the Open Book Project is going to be for. We're going to create an online and print resource that will tell you exactly what is in each book, and as far as we can, which books are used in each district.
Got it.
If we get enough volunteers, we want to be able to publish that for every single district in the country. But until we have that, we'll at least know which books are teaching what, and then that gives you power to put pressure on your school board. If you know that book A is great, teaches about everybody, and book B doesn't do that, push for book A. Really simple. And then because we're a legal organization, we'll be able to back it with the arm of the law. So that's what I think parents can do right now.
So I think 2 highlights that I got out of that response. One, Lex Rex is here to protect your rights, and we're working on a case called the Open Book Project, not a case, but a new project that we have. We are essentially going to be opening the door to the curriculum that is being taught to your kids. Now, if you want to get involved personally, what you could do is you could be a part of or ask about what's being taught. The other thing, if you want to get behind the organization,
go to our website, lexrex.org/openbook. We have a sign-up sheet to volunteer there. Whatever your skill set is, we'll find a position for you. Obviously, we need lots of people reviewing the curriculum.
We need passionate people that want to do this, that have the time, that can review the curriculum, and
even
care
if
about the
if
education.
you say, I don't know the first thing about history, don't worry about it. We'll help you do that. We want people who are great at history because they can create our materials that help other people. Right. But we have lots of stuff. If you don't even care about history, we have things for you to do. You can organize parents. We're going to set up local chapters to do this. There's a lot of work to be done. We need everybody involved on this.
We could also use your support in a fiscal sense. So if you could please tell our viewers a few things that they can make a donation and get something free back to essentially promote this.
So we talked last week about how lawyers are expensive, right?
Yes.
It turns out that in our Los Alamitos case, lawyers aren't too expensive at all because we're doing all of that work totally free of charge for our clients.
You hear that, folks? Totally free of charge.
We don't believe that enforcing parental rights, the ability of parents to supervise the education of their own children, should cost parents a dime. So at great expense to our organization, we've taken on that case. Now, what that means is it's free to them. It doesn't mean it's free at all
to us.
So I still got to pay the contract lawyers that work on that. I still got to pay staff salaries. So we could really, really use contributions.
You have to pay my big salary. I'm probably the highest paid out of everybody here, unfortunately. But I will say this, that gives a good cost to us.
It's a givesendgo.com/LosAl. That's LOSAL. So givesendgo.com/LosAl. You can donate to that. Really, every penny of their legal work is being paid for. Well, unless it's just coming out of our pocket, it's being paid for by that Give Send Go page. So please contribute there.
givesendgo.com/Los Alamitos.
LosAl.
LosAl. Just
LosAl.
LOSAL.
Yeah, abbreviation.
Thank you very much, Los Al. People from there, they will know. Alexander, I think that's all the time we have. Thank you so much, and thank you for what you're doing. You are one of the reasons why our country I have hope for, because this institution, our institution, is fighting for the rights of all of you, and he's not a greedy guy. He's paying for this.
Well, thank
you.
John. That's really meaningful to say. So.
Well, I meant it. You don't got to wear your boots around me. Good to see you, folks. Hope you have a great night.
All right. Thank you, John.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, folks.